The invention of paper by Chinese almost 2,000 years ago is considered one of the most pivotal discoveries in human history. Paper is at the heart of all modern civilizations. It is about communication, writing, art, science, music, political movements, history, and architecture, to name but a few of the disciplines that come to life through this profoundly versatile transmitter of knowledge. It has been the primary medium allowing information and literacy to spread rapidly across the planet. Despite the digital revolution, paper is still used every day in societies throughout the world, including here in Samoa. While paper can hold a lot of information, the knowledge of how paper was discovered and how it is made today is not generally known to those who benefit from its use. From paper money to textbooks, from newspapers to holy books, there are literally hundreds of ways humans interact with paper every day.
With so much of this functional product in use, it is not surprising that paper and cardboard make up the largest share of waste generated in Samoa. A World Bank report on waste, published in September 2021, found that of the 27,000 tons of waste generated annually in Samoa, roughly 1/4 is paper and cardboard, over 6,200 tons every year.
Siapo, printed bark cloth also known as tapa, is the closest traditional craft to paper made in pre-European contact Samoa. Artisans all over the archipelago still make siapo today, but the craft that mainly occupies women is not as widespread as it once was. And ua, the paper mulberry trees used to make siapo, are now only found in villages where there are siapo makers still practicing their craft. As the craft dies, the ua trees are no longer cultivated and protected and can quickly vanish from the environment as they are edible to pigs. It is the inner bark or bast of the ua tree that is used to make siapo, and the traditional technique involves beating the bast with a wooden mallet, ie, on a wooden anvil, tutua. Through a process of repeated beating and folding, the inner bark can be widened to up to 10 times the width of the original strip peeled from the tree.
The paper mulberry tree is native to Asia and was introduced to Samoa by the earliest settlers in the archipelago. It is believed to be the most widely transported fiber crop in the prehistory of the region, having been deliberately transported and cultivated in the islands of near and remote Oceania. In China, the paper mulberry tree has been used to make paper ever since it was invented there some 2 millennia ago. How this paper was made and is still made in China and in other countries is very different to how siapo is made in Samoa. Rather than stretching the bast by beating, the raw material is broken down to individual fibers to create a pulp.
Another machine used in modern paper making, invented almost 400 years ago around 1680, makes the processing of plant fibers into a pulp much more efficient and is called a Hollander beater, named after the country where it was invented.
Plant cell walls are made of a complex carbohydrate called cellulose. Wood is made of 40 to 50% cellulose. Cotton is made of almost 90% cellulose. To make paper, one must break down the plant cellulose into separate fibers with the help of water. The water dissolves out some of the glucose molecules from within the cellulose. When the pulp is later spread out to dry, the glucose molecules rebond with the cellulose to help hold the fibers together to create paper. Water, and lots of it, is an essential component throughout this process.
Handmade paper converts the pulp into paper using a decal, a wood frame covered with a mesh such as nylon screen, and a mold, another wood frame of the same size that is placed on top of the decal to actually form the paper. The screen decal acts as a sieve through which the pulp is passed, leaving behind a layer of interlocked cellulose fibers that chemically bond, dry, and form a sheet of paper.
The green paper venture at Tiapapata is supported under the Green Climate Fund Vaisigano Catchment Project, administered by the Civil Society Support Program. This initiative has established a paper-making facility at the Tiapapata Art Centre, where the papers, with the additional purchase of a monotype printing press, are used mainly for artistic purposes. New, innovative paper products are also being developed.
Selected plants and trees growing in the Vaisigano Catchment Area, some of which are invasive species, are processed to make the beautifully textured papers that have different colors obtained from the plants and trees used. Processing plants and leaves and the inner bark of trees to make the paper pulp or slurry involves stripping the leaves and bast, cutting them into short lengths, cooking for several hours, and then continuous pulping with the Hollander beater. White cotton rag and waste paper can also be added, the former making the color of the paper creamier, while the latter, containing ink, gives a gray hue to the paper. Wood ash can also be added to help break down the fibers. What is not added are the chemicals commonly used in commercial paper making.
Welcome to Paper Making with Mark Lander, Part 19.
The equipment used to make paper at the Tiapapata Art Centre was built by veteran paper maker and inventor Mark Lander of Lander Critters, based in Christchurch, New Zealand. The large Hollander beater, the Monster Critter, can process 4.5 kilograms of fiber and cotton rag in one batch. A smaller machine, the Little Critter, has a capacity of just under 1 kilogram.
Among the most common trees used to make paper at Tiapapata are the whau, or beach hibiscus, the fibrous white core of the many species of whai, banana plants, and the pulumamoi, or rubber tree. Other plants and trees used to make paper include lau oliniutuma, leaves of the Polynesian ivory palm, and the leaves of the many varieties of pandanus, laufala and laupaongu. Investigating the potential to make paper from tamalingi, a particularly aggressive invasive species that has dramatically changed Samoa's natural landscape, is currently underway. Ua, paper mulberry trees, have also been planted at Tiapapata for paper making in the future.
Mr. Awal Muhammad, an expert papermaker from Ghana, has been granted a work permit to assist the art center with its papermaking venture. Workshops in papermaking and printmaking have now been added to other art activities on offer at the center. Waste paper, collected from offices in Apia, can be added to the pulp, thereby teaching the value of recycling to workshop participants.
By removing some of the waste paper that would otherwise enter the waste stream, the Tiapapata Art Centre Green Paper Project contributes to a circular economy with a timeless product of human ingenuity that is known to Samoans as pepa.